12-4, Chapter 12, Section 4, Inverse Matrices and Systems. Our learning objective today is to solve systems of equation using matrix inverses and multiplication. The essential understanding for this section is that you can solve some matrix equation, AX equals B, by multiplying each side by the inverse of matrix A. So the way that looks is, if you look at this scenario, I'm going to multiply both sides of 5, 3, 3, 2 times x equals 1, negative 3. The first thing you do is to find the determinant and find the inverse of A. And when you do, you multiply. Once you find the inverse, you multiply it by both sides of the equation. When you do, you get the identity matrix, which is the same as, it's like the matrix equivalent to 1, and you get that the matrix is 11 over negative 18. So, similarly, the only time this falls apart is when your determinant is 0 and then it doesn't have a solution. So let's do that with A here. We want to find the solution of each matrix equation. So this is our A. Let me get a pen. This is A. 4, 3, and 2, 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the determinant of A. So that's 4 times 2 minus 3 times 2. That's equal to 8 minus 6, which is 2. So the inverse of A is a 1 over the determinant times, I'm going to switch A and D and negate C and B. So the inverse of A is, so now I'm going to cut all these guys in half. 1, negative 3 halves, negative 1, and 2. So what we're going to do is multiply each item by our inverse of A. All right, so when we do that, we should get the identity, and then so if I have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 1, so I have 1, negative 3 halves, negative 1 and 2, and I have negative 5 and 2. Calculate that out, and I get negative 8 and 9. So my X matrix is negative 8, 9. Where this can be really useful is when we're solving a system. So if I have, check out this system of equations here. It's 2x plus 3y equals 1, 5x minus 2y equals 13. So if I put my x coefficients here, 5 and 2, my y coefficients here, 3 and negative 2, x and y are my second matrix, and then my answer, my equals, goes on the right-hand side. Then I can solve this system by multiplying both sides by the inverse of A. This works with not only a 2 by 2, but it works when I have a 3 by 3 as well. So let's look. We'll do a 3 by 3 together. So let's do this B together. We're going to write a matrix equation, and then we are going to solve it for X, Y, and Z. And once I learned this process, it was really quick and easy. So my X coefficient is 1, my Y coefficient is 3, my Z coefficient is 5. You follow that same process here. If you don't have a term, then the coefficient is 0. So this is X, Y, and Z. And it's equal to 12, -2, and 7. All right, so I'm going to find, if I can find the determinant of this, and in fact, I am actually going to use my graphing calculator to find the determinant. So you set your matrix dimension at 3, and then you put in your coordinates. This is 1, 3, 5, -2, 1, -4, 7, -2, and 0. The determinant is -107. So if the determinant of this is A. Now it's a little bit funny to shift all these coordinates around, so one thing we can do is we can have the inverse calculated. So let's have it calculate our inverse. There we go. So everything is divided by 107. So let's put that all down. All right, so I'm going to multiply this identity matrix times my 12, -2, and 7. And the answer I get out is 195 over 107, 308 over 107, and 33 over 107. So let's do one more of these, but with a X and Y instead of a 3. The 3 one. So let's go, if I were to make this into a matrix, we'd go 9 and 3, 2 and 1, multiplied by the X and the Y, equals our answers. So essentially what I want to do, and I'm going to combine all of these into one step, I want to multiply, if this is A, I want to multiply the inverse of A by 3, -6. So if I'm coming over here, I'm going to calculate the inverse of A, and we have a 2 by 2. So it's 9, 2, 3, 1. So here is my result. And I want to multiply that by 3, negative 6. So write this down. Negative 1/3, negative 2/3, negative 1 and 3 times 3, negative 6. Need a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 1. So I got negative 1/3, negative 2/3, negative 1, 3. I have 3 and negative 6. Calculate. So the answer is 3, negative 21. So that goes that my x and y are 3 and negative 21. So if I want to double check that, I can pull up an ISO graphing calculator. And this is what I love about this place in your math career, is that you're starting to, there's multiple ways to do things, and each way can double check itself. And it crosses. Oh, did I put that in right? And let's do x. Which is good that we did this check, because this was a positive 1/3, and with that positive 1/3, this is a 5, negative 21. And that's it for this section.